to dance to a valse or waltz rhythm, which might also be called Samai Darigh. And they're not quite the same, but they're similar. And we dance them in similar ways. So that's why I'm including them all in the same video. So let's jump right in talking about the rhythm, how it's set up, and then we'll look at how we can dance with it, what moves we can do. So the valse or waltz comes actually from Western music. You probably know a waltz, right? It's just 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. If we wanted to put that into terms of dooms in text, it would be doom, tek, tek, doom, tek, tek, doom, tek, tek, right? And the Samai Darigh is similar, except we're going to take 2 of those doom, tek, tek, doom, tek, tek. And on the second one, we would leave out the last tek. So it would sound like doom, tek, tek, doom, tek, doom, tek, tek, doom, tek, doom, tek, tek, doom, tek. Okay, so those are the 2 rhythms, the 2 versions, Vals versus Samai Darigh. And it's not the most common of Bellydance rhythms, but it does come up especially in some classical songs and maybe in some méchancés. And I had a request specifically about this rhythm, so I wanted to make this video. And it's very fun and maybe a bit different from a lot of the rhythms that we normally dance to. So I thought it would be a good idea to look at this rhythm so that we do know when it comes in, what we can do, and how we can move to it. So when we think about just a basic waltz rhythm, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, there's a lot of this kind of continuous movement feeling to it, right? It's very repetitive, it's the same thing over and over again, so there's a lot of flow. So that's one thing to keep in mind. And the other thing is that emphasis on 1, right? It's always the 1. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And even in the Samai Darigh, it would be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Or if you want to count it in 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah? But basically it's easier to just think of it 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So a lot of emphasis on the 1 and a lot of kind of continuous flowing feeling. So a lot of times with the waltz rhythm, I would like to do traveling movements, but you don't have to. So I'm also going to look at some in-place movements, but even in the in-place movements, still I want to have a lot of this feeling of flow. So let's look at what sort of traveling movements we can do first, and then we'll look at some in-place movements. So the first traveling movement that I really like to do with waltz rhythms is the Waltz. So this one it comes from ballet actually, so also coming from kind of a Western tradition to go with this more Western rhythm. And I have a video on the technique, which I will link all of the technique videos in the description of this video. But just to remind you, this would be the step, cross, step, step, cross. And I like to do these arms. You can do other arms, of course, but as you see, it's a very flowy, elegant, light, airy movement. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you can do whatever arms you want. So Valz is fantastic for waltz. When you hear the waltz or Samai Darigh rhythm come on, you can go right into a Valz and it will almost always work. Other traveling movements we can do are the chassé. Chassé is good for so many rhythms and it also works for this one because it's 3 steps. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? 1, 2, 3. And of course you can travel anywhere you want with a chassé, which also makes it very useful. Then we have movements backwards and forwards that are also going to require 3 steps. So pretty much anything in 3 steps works great for these rhythms. So one thing that I really like to do would be what I call the back 2-3 movement, which is just traveling to the back. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And I usually like to add some other movement on top of that. So my favorite would be the camel. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Then there are videos on these movements which you can check out to look at the technique. You could also do something with the hips. 1, 2, 3. This is like the basic Reda movement. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So that works well. And then, of course, coming forward, the same thing, just traveling forward. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And again, here you can add some sort of torso, hip, whatever movement on top. One of my favorites coming forward would be the Maya, the traveling Maya triplet. So this one, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah? So that's a whole bunch of things you can do that you can play with. You can play with adding on different hip or chest or whatever else you want movements on top of the basic foot pattern, which is very easy to remember. 1, 2, 3. Going backwards, going forwards, balances to the side, chassés traveling all over the place. So those are your main traveling movements. You can also turn. The only issue with the turn is that in your basic Shinai turn, this is a movement that usually requires 2 beats. And because this rhythm has 3 beats, we need to hold the second beat. So a normal Shinai turn, we would do 1, 2, 1, 2 without stopping. But when you want to do that turn to this rhythm, you need to hold the 2 longer. You need to do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay? So yeah, you need to work on holding that. Or another option would be to do 1, 2, and then step, and then maybe pause. Yeah, so kind of a 3-step turn is something else that would work for this rhythm. But turns in general do look great because again, they really go with the feeling of the rhythm. It of course also depends on the melody and the instruments and all that. But in general, yeah, this rhythm often has a feeling of turning. And waltz, we also think of turning. So turns are great. So all of those are traveling movements. But we might also want to dance in place. And again, this decision for me usually depends on what is going on with the music, how many instruments are playing, you know, the speed, things like that. When I dance in place, usually I'm going to do kind of flowy movements, and I'm going to make the movement take up the whole 3 beats. So like, let's say I want to do a camel, which is a very nice one. It's a stepping camel. So I would do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Right, so I step every 1, and then I let the camel flow through my body on 2 and 3. 1, you can even add that little foot brush. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And of course you can add arms, do whatever you want with that. Or another example of a movement we could do would be, say, this vertical 8. Again, it's going to be slow. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Really emphasizing the 1. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So pretty much any fluid movement you can do for this rhythm. You just need to make sure that you're starting it always on the 1. And the other way that you can think of this rhythm, especially for movements in place, is instead of 1, 1, 2, 3, like holding everything for 3 beats, we can do 1, 2, and 1, 2. So I'll show you with another movement I like to do to this rhythm, which is just a simple sway. 1, like this, we can do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Right, so that works great. But we might also, again, maybe depending on the melody, do something like 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3. Right, so that adds a little more excitement into the movement, so spicing things up a bit. So yeah, 3 different ways you can think of the rhythm. For traveling, usually just 3 beats, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, doing something every beat, but emphasizing 1. For in-place movements, doing something on 1 and letting it kind of flow through 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Or doing something on 1 and 2, and then a quick preparation on 3 to then do something long. Again, on 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3. And yeah, you'll hear this sometimes in the music, like in Daret and Ayam, which is the song that is in this beginning of this video. You can hear that in the melody, that it actually does that. Dun, 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 dun. 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3. Yeah? So, again, depending on the melody, that might help you make that choice. So, I've given you a lot of possible movements you can do. So now we are going to play that rhythm and dance to it. Again, you can follow along with me, or you can improvise on your own. As a quick reminder of the movements we've looked at, we had the balancé, we had chassés, we had traveling backwards, maybe layering or maybe not, and traveling forwards, again, layering or not. We had turning, holding on 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then we had our in-place movements that I just showed: camels, vertical 8s, and the swaying. So, I know it's a lot. Again, it's just ideas, and you can do really whatever you want, but try to feel that rhythm and that 1, 2, 3. Waltz or Samai Darigh rhythm. I hope that this was helpful for you. And if it was, please do give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you have any topics that you would like me to do a video on, please leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. So thank you so much for watching, and happy practicing.